So today we are guesting a very special guest, Mr. Ron Robertson. How are you, sir?
Hi, Jerry. Good. How are you today?
Not too shabby, having one day off and doing a bit of everything, a bit of road tripping, a bit of interviewing. So.
Oh, did you see anywhere nice?
Yeah, we went for a lunch to Marezike, and now did a bit of a turn to talk with some music legends about great music and all that.
There's music legends here?
Well, at least one.
You have to show me in.
Okay, so let's go back to the past. In your time with Dio, I guess the period about which you are probably the most asked about. So with your arrival in the band, there is interesting story with your cassette thing that you probably thought about a million times, but can you tell it one more time?
Yeah, sure. I was reading in Kerrang and Metal Hammer that Ronnie James Dio needed a guitar player because Craig Goldie was no longer with them. So I decided to send the tape, and I thought, well, I'm not going to bother sending because what chance have I got? So my friend said to me, send it, you've got to send it. So all right, so I sent the tape, and about 6 months later, it got sent back to me, and they said, we're not interested, because I had sent it to the record company. And so then I took it tape again and I sent it back to the fan club, and Ronnie got to hear it at the fan club. And Wendy Dio called me up one night and said, how would you feel playing in front of 20,000 people? And I was eating my dinner and watching Star Trek at home in a little village in England. And I said to her, yeah, fine. Like this, because I was, and anyway, so they flew me out to Los Angeles for an audition, and then a second audition, and then they told me I had the gig to go back to England, collect my clothes, come back out in 2 weeks. So after Christmas I came back out and we started to work on the album. So it was a fairy story.
Okay, and do you remember any other faces from these auditions? Have you met some other virtuosos that were also trying to get a spot with Dio?
Guitarist, no, I didn't meet anyone at that time that was trying to get a spot with Dio, no. The only people at the audition were Jimmy Bain, Vinny, Claude, Ronnie.
Okay, and do you still have this cassette as your talisman, maybe?
No, that cassette, no, that's long gone, that cassette, no. I still have rehearsal tapes from when we wrote the album. I still have rehearsal tapes.
Okay, and back then you were like 17 or 18 years of age. How did your parents react to all this? I mean, were like totally in, or were a bit of, let's say, cautious, careful about your upcoming career and all that?
Yeah, my dad, I was living with my father, and he was very happy for me, very happy. But he was also worried about me going away.
Yeah, it's big business and all that.
Yeah, and all the horror stories you hear about Los Angeles. You know? So.
Okay, and now if you're looking back at this decision, it's now like 30 and more years. Would you repeat the whole thing, or do you have any, let's say, second thoughts now, since you're a bit older, you went through different things of life after that and all that?
No, fine. If I hadn't have taken it, I'd be living a very different life. But I think I would still have to take the opportunity, because I'm a musician. I live off music. It's a good life. Yeah, I would do it again.
Yeah, like Bon Scott once wrote, take a chance while you've still got a choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so with Dio, you co-created an album called "Lock Up the Wolves." So how were all sessions going on? I mean, you just came in the band and you already, let's say, left you to the table. How what was the factor that impressed him the most?
Impressed Ronnie, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I mean, you were like new player in the band and all that, and you already were like a strong co-author of the whole album. You're listed by all songs. Was that the practice in the band, or was Dio like specially impressed with some?
Oh no, what it was when we started writing on the album, I said to Ronnie, I said, "Can we play Holy Diver?" And he said, "No." He says, "We have to write." I said, "I don't know how. I don't know if I can do it." And he said, "Trust me, you can." He said, "You can do it." So then he would say to you, what guitar riffs do you have? And you would say, "Oh, I got this." And he'd say, "Well, what about this?" And then he'd hear one that he quite, maybe liked, and then start working on that. And he also wrote guitar riffs. "Lock Up the Wolves" was Ronnie's riff, and Jimmy Bain also contributed riffs. And I mean, those two guys were such great songwriters. I mean, listening back to the record, I have to say, I think my favourite song on it is "Lock Up the Wolves" now, in hindsight, and that riff is just so good. And that was Ronnie's riff.
And how were the whole sessions going on? I mean, was that like a group project, or were you doing separately?
Yeah, well, Ronnie used to say that this type of music comes from a band in a room. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, it has to be organic and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you play those ideas in a loud room together and write them together, that's how that type of music is created. So the whole album was written like that in rehearsal rooms.
And so it was 1990, and then in 1991 Dio left his, let's say, solo band and went to Black Sabbath. What were your, let's say, reactions when you heard about that? I mean, you were already doing a bit on a follow-up to this album.
Yeah, I think I was, at the time, I was just a kid still, so I just sort of went, oh, well, what am I going to do? And ended up starting a new band. But I suppose at the time I was probably quite shocked. I suppose. I just remember going, oh, and yeah, we had gotten together. I went to Ronnie's house maybe 2 or 3 times to work on new ideas for a possible new album. But he decided Black Sabbath was, I mean, it would have been an attractive thing for him to do at that time, because especially with the grunge music looming,
the whole landscape was changing.
And to go back to Black Sabbath would have been a real, and not to mention, I mean, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, there is that too.
Yeah, and I mean, I was listening to both albums, to Lock Up the Wolves and to the Humanizer, so back to back, and I mean, it shows that they were made, let's say, in the pretty similar time frame and all that. Did Dio maybe took any, let's say, ideas that you were working on to make this album, The Humanizer, or was that like totally separate story?
I have no idea if he took any ideas, but if he had done, they would have been his ideas. And listening back to old Black Sabbath, Into the Void, they wrote the book.
Yeah, they made the metal, and then Judas Priest, I guess, perfected it a bit more. But yeah, there's only one Tony Iommi. And if we move back to your these unused ideas, I read online that you are so waiting for the right, let's say, opportunity. You're waiting. I mean, there's lots of let's say, legal things included in this kind of projects. Since the album will be celebrating next year its 35th birthday, Is there maybe a chance that we can hear these things, maybe in some kind of anniversary pack or something, or you may be in touch with Wendy Dio, or?
Oh, I'm in good touch with Wendy, yeah. In fact, before I even did this, I said to her, is it okay if I play Ronnie's songs? And she said, absolutely not. But I did it anyway. No, I was kidding. No, she gave me the permission to do it. And so yeah, I'm still in good contact with Wendy. And I wouldn't know if there was going to be any re-release of Lock Up the Walls.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I thought because now they're doing lots of these remasters and reimagined albums and all that, and it would be maybe a good opportunity to let's say surprise the fans with some extra nuggets, so to say.
Yeah, would be great.
And then so the let's say after Dio went to Black Sabbath and you went your own way. I read also online that back in 2001 there was almost a reunion that never happened because of 9/11. Can you tell us more about it?
That's what I heard. Yeah, Craig couldn't do a tour, and I went in, rehearsed with them for a couple of weeks, and then they told me that the tour wasn't going to happen because of the security concerns. That's what I was told.
Mm-hmm. And did you stay in touch with Dio after? I mean, so when your, let's say, first and sadly the only, let's say, period with him broke, were you in touch with him? What were the relations between you and him?
Always good, yeah. Right up to when he died, I sent him a couple of emails, and I didn't actually hang out with him at that time, but no, it was good all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seemed to be like a classy guy and all that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if we return to the present times, what else is in the works? Can you tell us maybe what are your plans for, let's say, end of this year or upcoming years? What's in the can?
Yeah, well, I play in Las Vegas in this show, Raiding the Rock Vault, and so I'll be doing that to the end of the year, and I'm recording some stuff of my own as well, and I keep a hand in doing that because I enjoy it. So that's all that this year has in store. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Rowan, it was a big honor talking to you. Do you have maybe any closing thoughts for your fans, for our fans?
Well, I just feel so privileged and so lucky to be a part of such a wonderful group of fans around the world that love this music, and to have my little spot in it is great, and wish everyone the best.